Most of us don't wake up hoping to despise someone, but somehow we keep getting there. We wake up hoping the day goes smoothly and that nobody cuts in front of us at the four-way stop, like it's a competitive sport. But contempt doesn't usually arrive as a grand decision. It shows up more as an unsettling conclusion. That person isn't wrong. That person is beneath me. So, here's a small story about how that conclusion gets built, often without permission. Once upon a time, a whole country was terrified of a monster. People whispered about it. The news talked about it. People used its existence to keep their children in line, and sometimes adults too. The monster had a name: contempt. Everyone knew it was huge, ugly, loud, unstoppable. Then one day a wizard rode into town. He'd heard the stories, but they didn't sound quite right. So he did what careful wizards do. He checked the book, and there it was: contempt, illustrated in perfect detail. But contempt wasn't a towering monster. It was a grotesque little imp, not quite 3 inches tall. Ugly, yes. Noisy, absolutely. But powerful? Not really. Mostly, it survived by convincing people it was larger than it really was. Then convincing them to blame and fear each other with inflated claims, half-truths, and outright lies, and by getting them to build their lives around it. You see, it had to get into their heads, because if anyone ever saw it for what it really was, well, let's just say it had no power at all. The wizard tried to tell the people the truth. Don't feed it. Don't rehearse it. Don't worship it with attention. If you ignore it, it shrinks. But the people didn't want that kind of peace. They preferred their monster. It gave them something to point at and someone to blame. They could never just give up something so powerful, so valuable. So the wizard traveled on. Now, that story is obviously ridiculous, which is why it works, because real people do something similar. We sort people into us and them, sometimes by ideology, sometimes by tribe, sometimes by a single sentence said on a bad day. And once that sorting happens, certainty grows fast. Not truth, certainty. The kind that feels solid because it's repeated. The kind that feels moral because it's shared. Not the kind that's tested. Confidence starts to outpace understanding. And our little monster feeds on the imbalance and the angst and the enmity that comes with it. Because contempt isn't true disagreement. It's a conclusion we arrive at, often unjustly, often incorrectly. It becomes dismissal. It's deciding another human has no value, or that their ideas or their way of living is simply absurd. And here's the part that should bother us. Most of the time, when people actually meet across a line they've been trained to fear, the monster, it loses its power over us and gets smaller. People don't suddenly agree on everything, but they often discover something inconvenient. The other person laughs at jokes, worries about their kids, gets tired, tries, fails, tries again. In other words, they are annoyingly human, inconveniently so, which raises an uncomfortable question. If contempt shrinks in the presence of real contact, where did its outsized influence come from? Whose lunch was it eating? Maybe the most reliable warning sign is in conflict. It's the moment certainty stops being about ideas and becomes a verdict on people. And that's usually when the imp starts yelling. And the strange thing is, it doesn't require evil intent. It can happen to sincere people, careful people, even decent people who are tired and trying to make sense of a loud world. If this little tale rings a bell, you probably know someone else who might appreciate it too. So here's an ounce. The work isn't to win against contempt. It's to notice when it's being inflated and to refuse to participate by adding anything to it. And that's it. An ounce. Submitted for your consideration.